There we go. So I'm recording now. Hello, everybody. This is Ryan. This is the Life Autistic podcast, and I'm here today with Zoe after a couple minutes of technical difficulties. Welcome.
Hello.
Right on. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today. Drew's not with us today. He had some project he's working on, and he's exhausted. So, hi, Drew.
All good. Hello from afar.
Yeah. Where do you live again?
I'm from Indianapolis, Indiana.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm always fascinated by. I love that we're in this time where we get to talk to people from all over, and it's just like, hey, I'm in Canada, I'm in Indiana, cool. Like, it's just pretty neat to be able to do. So
yeah.
How did you first stumble across our little podcast?
Well, I mean, I follow a lot of like autism pages and such, and I was actually drawn in by your name, the Life Autistic instead of the Life Aquatic. And
okay. Yeah,
I'm a Wes Anderson fan, so you got me. But yeah,
that's cool. It's funny actually because there's the obviously the movie, and then there's a musician named Everlast.
Mm-hmm.
If you're familiar with him or not, but he had an album called The Life Acoustic.
Yeah, well, I remember the album and I remember Everlast, but
yeah. So I was trying to think of a name for this podcast. And when I first started it, it was called Adulting with Asperger's.
Mm-hmm.
I was like at the very beginning of my, discovery and journey here. And then that name, in short time, I realized that name wasn't going to work. Mm-hmm. And then I think I went through a couple different names. And then I was just on Spotify, like playing some music, and like that album came up, his album, The Life Acoustic. And I went, oh, so he took the Life Aquatic, made the Life Acoustic. I'll make the Life Autistic. And then that's how the name came up. So it's kind of funny. But so you, do you want to tell us how old you are or where you grew up or any of that kind of sort of background info?
Well, I am 29 years old. I just turned 29 this past March.
Yeah.
And just live in Indiana, and that's the backstory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna quickly grab a piece of paper. Hang on.
Yeah, no worries.
I'm doing this in my kitchen today. I normally do it at my desk in the other room, but I've just been organizing boxes and it's become a complete disaster area. So
I understand that.
I'm sort of scared to go in there right now, but yeah. So how are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah. So you are autistic?
Yes. Now, like, not officially diagnosed, but I've been confirmed by one of my therapists before, and that just kind of led to my own self-discovery. Yeah. But like prior to that, I had been like misdiagnosed with like all the things and like on all different sorts of medication that never worked, and because it wasn't meant for that. And after that long journey and then figuring out the things, and I mean, growing up, I mean, even with autism itself, it's like I was under the impression that, I don't know, only so many people you would know had autism. I don't mean to use quotes like that, but like there was a certain way about it that it's like, oh, well, I'm not that, so this has to be it. But that was not the case, because it's huge. It's a big old spectrum. So yeah, like, yeah.
That's 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 an interesting thing. Like well, first of all, I'll say self-diagnosis is welcome here.
It should be. I mean, there are a lot of factors that people get undiagnosed to begin with, so it's like unfair for people to be like, well, you're not because somebody didn't say you were. Well, I mean,
and it's difficult. I mean, for me, I went to my like family doctor when I first was in this process, and I went to my family doctor and said, hey doc, you know, I think I'm autistic, and I was basically laughed out of the room. And then I went to another psychologist, spent $100 on that hour, which is a complete waste of time. She didn't know anything about it. She looked at me and said, well, you have tattoos. You can't be autistic. Autistic people don't get tattoos. And I just was like, oh my God, like I don't know where you're from.
No idea what you're talking about.
And then I went to this, like a autism center that I heard about. And then I went through the process, which took several months, and it costs a lot of money. I mean, it cost me almost $1,000, and that's, which I couldn't really afford, but I just, you know, kind of made it happen at the expense of other things. But I realized like that's a lot of money, and I was sort of lucky that I was able to pull it off, but for a lot of people that wouldn't be available. So and I was self-diagnosed for a year and a half before I was officially diagnosed. So you know, I don't, so anyone who's listening to this podcast, like all 8 of you, just know that this podcast, this place is like, you know, I think there's you don't have to have an official stamp to be part of the club, you know? But it's to talk about what you were talking about with like all the sort of misdiagnoses, because that was a big part of my experience as well. Like I lived my whole life and I was kind of cycling through like, what is wrong with me? Like, do I have depression? Am I bipolar? Do I have chronic fatigue? Do I have this? Do I have that? Like I would just always be like, what the hell is going on? I can't figure it out. And then when I finally arrived at autism and then started really researching and reading, it was like all of a sudden all these other things fit under that umbrella.
Exactly.
The anxiety and the depression and the seemingly bipolar like symptoms, like all of those just were like, I fit under the autism umbrella as more byproducts of the trauma of living autistic than they were necessarily their own diagnoses, if that makes sense. Did you want to talk
100%? That's exactly it. like I mean, for one, a lot of quote unquote mental illnesses, neurological disorders, what have you, they go hand in hand with their quote unquote symptoms, characteristics, and everything. So I can get where things and people can be easily misdiagnosed, but even still, like, some things just don't fit. So you like, things fit more, for me anyway, under the autism umbrella than it ever could with like, well, I mean, bipolar disorder, that makes sense too, but even still, it's like the same thing, just different reasonings. Like if I didn't know that I was being triggered by something, then I wouldn't know what was happening. So it could have just been a swing of sorts, or like, I don't know, but like that was another thing that I had to learn to do, is pay more attention to what's happening around me to realize what's happening when this happens for that to happen. Like that. So I don't, you get what I'm saying. It's just, it's a whole process, but I don't know. Everything's similar, very similar.
But, there's a lot of overlap.
Yes, a little too much.
Do you did you have any specific like misdiagnoses you can talk about, like whether it's yourself thinking it's this or that, or a doctor or psychologist or counselor saying to you it's this or that? Like,
well, I remember, so the first time I ever saw a therapist in the first place was maybe my sophomore year in high school. And I had already, like, I didn't talk to family or anything about what was going on with me, but I had my quirks, so to speak. And like, I know my mom, she would think I was just being ornery at times. Like,
Yeah.
I get that, but like, I literally just could not handle some things. So like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that it was like me and not like me trying to be contrary, I guess. So
Yeah.
I thought that because of how I was perceived that I was being contrary. And I now know, no, I wasn't. I just had to do things my ways. But sophomore year or so was when I first started seeing therapy, and that was for like self-harm and stuff.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that, like, I wasn't doing things to hurt myself, so to speak. Like, I didn't know that much, but it was like an outlet for me. So that was seen eventually, which is what led me to being into therapy. And like a lot of things I had, I don't want to say mistook for something else, but like what I went through, it's so hard to explain.
Yeah. Take your time. It's all good. We're in no rush.
It's like, um,
90% of the people listening to this are autistic. So like yeah, whatever. You take your time. We're good. We get it.
I'm doing my best.
What's that?
I said I'm doing my best.
Yeah. Believe
But,
me, I'm spent half my time doing this show. I'm just like fumbling and stumbling, and the other half I'm just rambling.
Like, rambling is a thing, and then I'll get so off topic, and then don't know where I was at. So.
I tell everybody in my life, I'm like, don't ask me even the most simple question unless you have 20 minutes, because if you just say, "How was your week?" I'm gonna go forever until you tell me to shut up. So don't.
that can go on for days.
Yeah.
No sleep till Brooklyn.
There you go. No sleep till Brooklyn. I'm putting that in the show notes. Beastie Boys.
Beastie Boys.
This is the second episode where we've had Beastie Boys mentioned. So.
Oh, cool. They should sponsor you now.
Yeah.
What was I saying?
I don't know. I'm sorry if I.
No, it's all good. We can talk about something else even.
Yeah.
I just don't remember where I was.
I guess like one thing I'm always curious about, and I always think people listening want to hear about, because that's the feedback I get, is just like that journey from, for me, the journey was from what the fuck is wrong with me to, oh, I'm autistic. And like that journey is like
clarity.
So fascinating to me, because you know, I'm in my 40s, and I spent my whole adult life like thinking I was broken. And then when I finally went, oh, I get what this is, I'm not broken. It was like this fog lifted. I could quit beating myself up for feeling like something's wrong with me, and I could just embrace who I am. And that is like the thing I like to share. And I think, you know, if that's something that you want to talk about, that'd be awesome.
Definitely. I mean, so I learned more about autism for different reasons other than myself. And it wasn't until I saw actual information on it, and not just what I've heard, seen, believed, what have you, that it was, like I said, it was for someone else in the first place. And I was just like, but that's me. That's me. That's me. Literally every single thing. I was like, but that makes sense. Is that why that happens? Oh, this is this and that. And it just like never stopped. And then like I remember like confiding in some of my friends at one point, being like, oh, I think I'm autistic. And they were like, no, you're not. I'm just like, how are you going to tell me that? Like,
Yeah.
I learned these things, and this is the me's. What are you talking about? And I mean, I learned later, like, those aren't supportive people, and I shouldn't be bothered with them anywhere. But yeah, like, just the more I learned about it, even just following fellow autistics on social media and like listening to podcasts, watching videos, like everything, it's just like, I'm not the only one. Like, that's never happened before. And it's not just like little things. I mean, it may be little things, but like even the big things, they're the same things, just different for some people. But they get what I'm saying when I'm saying it. Like, anyway. But it wasn't until I started learning about like everything that everything began to make sense. And then when my therapist like confirmed for me that information, I was just like, there, that's all I needed. Like, I don't need no doubt. Yeah. I mean, I would like to test myself at some point in time, just for like the solid set in stone feel, but like I already know.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. If literally everything in my life makes sense due to this one sliver of information, I'm gonna go with that, because that makes sense. Why would it not apply to me?
Exactly. It's like a process of elimination.
Mm-hmm.
And you go, like, that was my experience, was this process of elimination, where I went, well, you know, why do I have this? Why am I like this? Why do I do this? Why am I like this? And then you cycle through all these things, like I said, you know, depression, bipolar, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And then when I remember I read this book this guy wrote, who was diagnosed in his 50s, and he talked about going through that process and how he had done the same thing and cycled through all these different things, and then all of a sudden all of them made sense and they all went under this one umbrella. And I just went, oh yeah, like there it is. And it was just like an clarity, you know. I wasn't confused anymore. I wasn't wondering anymore. I just was like, oh, this is the answer. Like, and now I can learn about that and like learn how my brain works, learn what I need, learn what my difficulties are, and in communicating or whatever, and express that to the people in my life. And it's just making my life better. So
easier.
And it's funny though, because there are still people in my life. I mean, I've been doing this podcast for over a year. I've officially was diagnosed like last October, and there are still people in my life who are like, you're not autistic. You just want attention, and you're just making it up, or you're just looking for excuses. And I just look at them and I'm like, you have no fucking idea. How dare you tell me what my motivations are, you know?
Mm-hmm. And like, that's another thing that gets on my nerves, is like, you can be proud of like how you are, who you
Well, it looks like we're frozen here. If anyone's listening, we got a little freeze on the Zoom. I don't even know if my voice is recording right now. There's a little freeze on the Zoom. Lizzo will be back on in a moment.
We did it. Did it come back? Oh, wait. You're muted.
Now I'm back.
There
I think I'm back.
There you are.
Hey, you're back.
It like froze, and I was like talking, and I didn't know where it froze at.
And now you have to just repeat everything you just said for the last 30 seconds.
I don't remember. Yeah, I do. How much did you hear? Is the question.
I think I didn't hear much of it.
Oh, that's good then. Oh, I was just saying that one of the things that gets on my nerves is like, especially now, there are a lot of people that, quote unquote, important people or people of celebrity influence or what have you, that have been coming out more recently.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people jump on bandwagons and such. And that's happened before, like with other things in the world, but this is one of them that I can understand where people would feel that way, but at the same time, not everybody is like that.
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel where you're coming from, but don't take that out on me. That's not me, boo.
Yeah.
Like,
Is it like, have you had anyone think that you're just like want to be autistic because it's a trend or it's cool or it's a fad or something? Like I haven't had anyone say that to me, but
not me personally.
I'm vaguely aware that that's kind of out there, you know? And
like, I don't really associate with that many people, and the ones that I do are supportive in the first place. So
yeah.
no, that has not happened to me. And I've also been open about it for, I don't know, good 5-6 years or so.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was before anything, but at the same time, I don't know. I wasn't looking.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that stuff. I've just seen a lot more things come out as of late, especially following more in the community. Like, I see a lot of people bitching about a lot of stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. Here
like
we go.
Like Elon Musk and that kind of thing, or
that kind of thing. First of all, when I didn't even see that episode, but I heard that he was saying that he was the first autistic person to host SNL. I'm like, first of all, Dan Aykroyd is autistic, and he was on the show and hosted it numerous times. What are you talking about? And that just completely erases him.
Yeah.
As a human, probably a better human. Who knows? I don't know these people, but you know what I'm saying. And I don't know. I haven't seen it. All I did was watch the trailer. But that Sia movie, music, I'm sure you heard the things or seen.
Yeah, I haven't watched it either. I'm not sure if I will. I guess I will at some point, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm sort of scared too.
It seems offensive on more than one level.
Yeah.
Like, I used to like Sia until I saw how she handled that situation in the first place.
Yeah.
So, like, I liked her music. I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't like her music. I still like her music, but I don't like her, so I'm not gonna like go out of my way to listen to her music anymore. But there are songs I still like, but I don't really get into people like, yeah, I do. What am I saying?
Yeah.
I don't select you. Here I go talking to myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't seen, I'm not even familiar with her. Like, I don't know her music. So when this whole thing about the movie came out, that's kind of the first I even heard her name. Like, I just didn't know who she was.
Really?
So
okay.
Yeah, I don't really follow like music, like modern music, I guess. Like I'm a nerd about 90s music, but modern stuff. But so I her reaction seemed pretty poor to a lot of the criticism, and but I'm hoping, I'm always hopeful that people will come around. Like I don't personally believe in like canceling people. Like I just kind of hope that she'll learn from that and then be a better like ally or advocate or whatever word we want to use in the future. But
I don't see that happening.
What's that?
I said we can hope that, but I don't see that. I like your mug, but I don't see that happening.
Oh, thanks.
Is it like a bus? That's
yeah.
yeah.
I have a 70s Volkswagen van.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, that I'm
like a real one.
What's that?
Like a real one?
Yeah.
Can I have it?
Well, I'm in the process of fixing it up. I'm gonna get it on the road for like next spring. And actually what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn it into a mobile podcast studio.
That'll be so dope.
And then we want to take the bus and we're gonna put like the podcast name like on the side of the bus and everything. And then we're gonna take it to different autism events and conferences and things like that.
That's super dope.
So that's the plan. I mean, I don't have any money to do any of that, but I'm manifesting.
The universe, yes, you're manifesting it. You got it.
So if anyone's listening to this and you want to help me fix the bus, Go to patreon.com/thelifeautistic. So maybe we'll make our way down to Indiana for, do a live one in the bus one day.
Yes, that'd be so dope.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have a little chair set up. A little.
Yeah.
Wait, is the back open, or is it like, how does it?
Well, the engine's in the very back, so it would be like the side door would open, and what I want to do is put like a little table in there with a couple comfy chairs, and then have like the recording stuff on the table, headphones, microphones, and just make the vibe in there really chill.
Yes.
Like really just calm, quiet, chill, and make it a nice kind of place to just be. And then that's what I'm hoping we can go to some different events, and
that'd be so cool.
Yeah, like Drew, who's like my the guy who's come on board to help me produce this podcast. Like he works in film and TV, and he's producing I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about it, but I think he's okay if I say it. He's producing a documentary series right now on athletes who are disabled, like disabled athletes, like in a variety of different sports. And then he's doing that, and then we want to eventually try to see if we can find the funding to turn this podcast into some kind of a show, just following the lives of autistic people, autistic adults, like living their lives. Because, I think, we've talked about this on the show before, but a lot of the conversation around autism is always around children. And it's kind of like as soon as you turn 18, no one gives a shit. But that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this show, this podcast, and like focus on have these conversations with autistic adults, because there was just nothing really there. I mean, a lot more of these shows have come up now, which is great. But when I started this podcast, like year and a half, 2 years ago, there was nothing out there for autistic adults, and it's like, hey, we exist. Like, autism doesn't just, you don't grow out of it,
Yeah.
So, anyway, but like back to like that movie you're talking about, are there any other shows or movies or anything that speak to you, like that portray autism in a way that is okay?
I can say I am a fan-ish of Atypical.
Yeah.
They do a pretty good job of portraying a certain type of someone on the spectrum, with also showing like their support systems. But the only thing, what's his name, Greer, the kid that plays the kid, Sam, like he is not autistic in real life. And that's probably my only, like, I'm not a fan of when people are representing something that they're not, but at the same time, like, I mean, I'm not saying that autistic actors don't exist. That's clearly false. But like, you're one. But yeah, like, I feel like they don't, like, the media, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it, they don't put in enough effort to find actual, like, description of that autistic person. You know what I'm saying? Like, at least just be on the spectrum of some, like, to some degree, to at least like be like, see, we can do this. We are represented by actual people like us, not people trying to be like us for 2.5 seconds and then profiting off of it. And then not going to anything to help anybody. Like, that's just like I guess a pet peeve of mine. But that's not to say that they don't do a good job portraying it. It's just it's like weird. But that, and I mean, that goes for more than just autism in the media. Like, that's like anything. Like someone that's blind that's not blind, or, well, that's silly because I'm sure there's blind actors. I don't know. Do you know of any blind actors? Like actually blind actors?
I don't know of any, but yeah, I'm sure they're out there. And yeah, I can see that point of view. Like if you have a sighted actor playing blind, it's like, well, why wouldn't you just hire a blind actor for that role? Like,
I mean, like, that's a poor example because that might make things a little more difficult than need be, but like, it's still like,
no, but
not considering the person's abilities.
Yeah.
Whatever. Like, you don't know until you try.
Yeah, totally. But I could see, like, if I was a blind actor and somebody who has sight got a role that I could have played, I would be probably kind of pissed off. Like,
yeah,
hey, hire me. Like, you know, it's hard enough as a blind actor to get work. Like
legit.
You think you can at least hire me to play a blind guy?
Yeah. But you know.
Yeah. But I enjoyed Atypical as well. I liked the show. I like what you said about how it shows it's like the support system, the family dynamic. I really was touched by, like, is it Sam? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was touched by, like, his relationship with his sister and with his best friend. And I liked that it showed the best friend. It's like, hey, like, this guy is autistic and he's a prime candidate for being bullied and for being picked on and ignored socially. And then, but he's got this buddy who's just kind of looks out for him and loves him. Like, they love each other. His buddy accepts him, that, like, he's not going to be the same as other people, but, like, he's just still my pal, you know? And it actually really, like,
takes him under his wing.
Yeah. And it really actually, like, kind of reminded me of some of my, like, high school friendships. I didn't know I was autistic at the time. Nobody did, but I always felt very sort of isolated and out of place, and like I didn't really know what was happening around me, and it was confusing. And I was lucky enough that I had a couple close friends that sort of did that with me and sort of took me under their wing and looked out for me. And so it was touching. And I also think the portrayal of some of his experiences, like when he kind of gets into like a sensory overwhelming scenario, like the way that he got that and showed it, I was like, whoa, this is actually pretty close to what it feels like.
Pretty close. Yeah.
So I've been able to, like, show those scenes to other people and go, like, this is actually, like, pretty close to, like, what happens. And that's been pretty cool, because I definitely know those moments when all of a sudden, like, you start getting hit with different sounds and your brain's just going and you're like, whoa,
you just shut down.
yeah. So
nope.
yeah. So
but yeah.
And I don't really know any others, but
yeah. Not that I can think of.
What do you have in your hand?
Oh, some putty.
Okay.
It's magnetic putty.
What? That's a thing?
Yeah. Like, hold up. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but it, like, comes with a magnet, and hold up. You see it?
What?
Yeah. Well, it's not gonna do it that quickly, but yeah.
That's so cool.
I don't know if you ever use thinking putty. It's Crazy Aaron's thinking putty. That's what I use.
What?
Crazy Aaron's thinking putty. There's like scented, there's magnetic, there's color changing.
Crazy Aaron. I'm gonna write that down.
Yes. But I like to play with the putty when I'm, like, talking on the phone or something.
Yeah. I notice your hands going, and I'm just like, buddy, here's what I'm doing while I'm talking. I'm just like,
so, I wish I could do a Rubik's Cube. Like, I know that there's, like, the pattern to do it, but I don't know. So, question, is it like the same, like, this is just an example, like 2 over 1 up, 2 over 1 up, 2 over 1 up for each color, or is that just per grid? Like, you know what I mean? Because it's like whatever spot you're looking at or whatever spot you're trying to get, there's like the pattern for it, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have
which
no idea.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't know how to solve it. I've got it on it's on my list of like things I want to do is like learn how to solve it. I just play with it. I just like the feeling of it in my I just like the feeling of it in my hands.
They are fun and they're fun. Oh, I have this other thing. It's not a Rubik's Cube, but I like to pretend that it is. Hold on. It's one of these things. Have you seen like it's this thing and you can
Oh
like
yeah.
but like I pretend it's a Rubik's Cube and I'll just do this and be like but it's not real. So
it's fun too.
I always win.
Yeah. I've got a few.
How long have you been working on that one?
Nice. Yeah, I've got a few other little like similar little puzzle things that I like to, you know, sometimes just have in my hands when I'm on the phone or something.
It definitely helps.
It's
funny. How long have you been working on that?
What's that?
It's what? Oh. What? I was asking how long you've been working on that Rubik's Cube. But...
Oh, like a year and a half.
Oh.
I keep going online and trying to learn the algorithms to do it, and then I get after like 10 minutes, I'm like, fuck this, I'll do it later.
Whatever.
I learned how to do like I managed to sometimes get like one side, and then I'm like, cool, I succeeded. But yeah.
On to the next one.
I worked with a guy a couple years ago. This kid, he was like 20, and he could do it in like a minute.
That's so cool.
And it was so fun to watch. And we would you'd mix it up for him, hand it to him, and he would just go boom in like 1 minute. I was like, wow. So
I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like they use every single finger.
Yeah.
At once. Done.
Do you have any other stims that you do or?
I mean, there's a lot of them. I don't know. I feel like it depends on the situation.
Yeah.
Or what have you. I don't know. I can look like I'm trying to fly away sometimes. I'm even like I hit myself sometimes too, like not to hurt myself, but like like it's a thing.
Yeah.
I have some vocal stems.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot.
Yeah.
There's so many things. There's so many things.
Yeah. I have like a few. Like I talk to myself all the time.
Ooh, me too.
And then I had a family friend years ago who's a psychiatrist, and I was having a conversation with him about that, and he said, he's like, well, I've recommended this to a few different people. He's like, carry a broken cell phone with you.
Oh.
And when if you're in a public place and you feel the need to talk to yourself, but you don't want to be looked at as a crazy person, you just hold a broken cell phone up to your ear and nobody will bother you. So I do that sometimes.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I liked it. I rock constantly. Like I'm always rocking. So a lot of the time I just put headphones on and there's nothing playing. But if anybody sees me rocking, they just think I'm jamming out. Well, like if I'm in line at the grocery store or something, I can just do my thing, and if I don't have my headphones on, I'll just start sort of like very quietly humming or singing to myself, and that's kind of a way, if anybody sees me rocking, they'll just be like, oh, he's just singing to himself, like you don't have to worry, he's not a crazy person. It's like, guess what? I am a crazy person.
I am a crazy person. That's what I was gonna say. Like, I got to the point where I stopped caring. Like, I will talk to myself. I will dance in the line. I will do anything I need to do. I tap dance down the aisle. Like, I got this. Like, give me my space. But I know that it probably looks odd from the other side, but I know that I know what I gotta do. And I ain't hurt nobody, so
I like it. I like it a lot. How are you? How is your support system, like friends, family, in regards to supporting you and accepting autism and everything?
Fairly supportive. I mean, we all kind of go through the same things anyway. Like, I mean, my major people in my life are like my mom, my sister, my nephew, and my boyfriend. So that's kind of it. It works like that. Like my sister, she's really good with like working with people with special needs and stuff. She was like a special needs teacher prior to being like a math teacher.
Okay.
But so she's really good at being patient with me. She knows what to do. Like even if I'm getting on her nerves, which I know I do sometimes, she's still willing to like be patient, be there for me. She'll yell at me later if she needs to, but like she'll drop whatever just to like help me out, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Same with like, yeah, like boyfriend. He's good at like helping me through stuff. He knows I need pressure. Like he knows like I go what you'd call nonverbal a lot. Like I'm not. Yeah. I just can't say the things I'm trying to. Like my brain is screaming words and responses. I tell you, I just can't say nothing. But yeah, people they're just understanding, very understanding. Yeah. I'm appreciative, extremely appreciative.
Yeah.
But I'm also one like I don't know. Things are very like black and white for me. So the fact that I have support, I rely on that support. If I didn't have support, I'd be fine on my own, if that makes sense. So it's like,
yeah,
I know what I need, but since you're here, I want you to be able to know what I need to. Yeah. But like, I can do it on my own. I just need help sometimes, but I would only need help if I knew that there was help available, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does. Okay. It's nice to have. Yeah. Do you?
That's also kind of terrible because I can become a recluse like that, and ain't nobody needs that.
Yeah, it's easy to do.
Mm-hmm.
I've actually like weirdly enjoyed this whole lockdown thing. Like, not to get into the politics of it all or whatever, but making the best of the situation, given that we were in a lockdown and making the best of it, I'm like, oh, so I'm just going to be at home all the time by myself and not have to interact with humans. Like, holy crap, I could get used to this.
Hell yeah. Like my normal life.
Yeah.
Now everyone is being forced to live my way.
Yeah. It's like, hey, I saw a meme a while back about this whole lockdown, and it was something to that effect of just like, if you don't know, hey neurotypicals, if you don't know how to just like be alone for a long period of time and like not interact with people, like ask your autistic friends how to do it, because we're experts.
We're experts. Good.
Yeah. It's funny. I work like a couple nights a week bartending, and it's like, seems an odd choice for an autistic brain to do, but it actually has been really good for me, is in that it like forces me to be social and interact with humans, and like I've learned a lot about how to interact with people from doing that job, and it like forces me out of the house, forces me into a place with like people and noise and all this stuff, and it's not always easy because it can get overwhelming, but I think it's kind of good for me overall, because I if I didn't have like a financial reason to leave my house, I don't think I ever would.
Yeah, right.
other than like just going outside for a walk, you know, but like but yeah, so I don't know.
Usually sun time.
Yeah. Do you work or go to school, or what does your life look like?
Well, right now, like I've just been freelancing, like whatever comes up. I do photography, music, and like my main focus as of late has been like jewelry making.
Oh wow, okay.
Like I do like little I've been making keychains, earrings, and what else? Well, mainly keychains and earrings, but some necklaces. But more so just like time passing, but also putting time passing to good use.
Yeah.
And I don't know, since like COVID and everything, I haven't been trying to play music out anywhere.
Yeah.
But I mean, things are loosening up now, so I guess I could like probably start getting back into stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, mainly just whatever comes up.
Yeah.
Music lessons.
Wow. So what do you sing? Do you play an instrument? What do you do? What kind of music?
I play, well, I mean, I sing, I play guitar, I play ukulele, play violin. Like violin was the first thing I learned. My mom got us in that. I was in second grade when I learned violin.
Yeah.
And then I played that all through high school. Out of high school, I was in some orchestras. But yeah, that's my main instrument, but I don't, and I say main because it's what got me started on everything else.
Yeah.
Everything else I've been self-taught with, so like that's just violin just got the door open.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you have like a band, or do you play solo, or?
I've tried to do bands, but that don't work. If anything, I can do like another person, and even still, like they gotta know what they're doing more than I do.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've done like solo shows, duet-ish shows. I say duet, not like duet, but like duo. I guess that's a better word.
Yeah.
Duo shows.
Yeah.
Any band that I've ever been in, it's always been one person, if anything, if not all. But it's just hard. It's really hard to work with people, especially musicians.
Yeah.
Like nothing against musicians, obviously, but like
Yeah.
it's difficult, especially being like different. Like
Yeah.
it's a little stressful, a little bit more stressful than it's worth sometimes. But
Yeah.
that's why I just do my thing, and then if I meet someone and we can collaborate, we'll do that. Like
Yeah.
I don't focus on one person for long periods of time for that reason.
Yeah.
If we can work on something, we can work on something. If we can't, I'm gonna do this by myself.
Yeah, that makes sense. I do music too, and I've done some projects where it's just me and one other person, and those seem to go well.
Mm-hmm.
And then projects I've tried that are with like a band, like 5 people or something, it's too much to navigate. It's too many personalities, and
to pay attention to.
Yeah.
Like,
and five different ideas of where a song should go, and you're just like, well, how are we gonna? With 2 people, you can have a conversation and figure it out, but with 5 people, I just found it was too much.
Mm.
Do you have any music online? Like, if anyone's listening, they could find it and listen to it, or?
I mean, right now I just have whatever I have on my Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm kind of terrible at posting things to like my YouTube and stuff. So that's something, like that's a goal in which I've set, at least for this year, to start posting more. Like even if it's not, see, I'm kind of a perfectionist also, so if something's not how I want it to be, I'm probably not going to put it up.
Yeah.
But I want to get past that and just post things as they are, because things aren't perfect all the time anyway. I just need to get over that, because it's also something that holds me back in the long run. So
yeah, for sure.
One of those things. Yep.
Yeah.
Just gotta do it.
Just gotta do it. I know.
Gotta do it, Cotton.
It's hard.
She's got.
Oh man. So what's your Instagram handle for anyone listening? I'll put it in the show notes too.
It is Queen, spelled with a K, so Kueen .zoh, ZOH.
Cool.
Or Z. I said Zed like I say it all the time.
You say Zed?
I do when I'm thinking about it because I think it sounds better. But
Yeah.
I'm talking to like normal people and I say normal people like you're not normal.
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? Like people in my district, whatever, they do not say Zed, but I say Zed.
No,
like, and I'm like,
Zed is how we say it in Canada.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah. So it's funny, like you said Zed, which to me sounds totally normal, and then you went, oh, Z, and I was like, oh yeah, that's how you, yeah.
It just like went right over your head.
Oh. Zed or Z?
Yes,
Zed
depending on the listener here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess we'll kind of wrap this up shortly. Is there anything else that you wanted to talk about today that we haven't touched on or wanted to share?
I don't know.
Pressure's on.
I can tell you a joke.
Think of something. No.
It's been placed.
Oh my god.
All right, so here's this terrible joke for you.
Amazing.
All right. How does an elephant get out of a tree?
I don't know. How does an elephant get out of a tree?
It sits on a leaf and waits for fall.
Oh my god.
That's my favorite joke.
Awesome. I love it.
Everyone's always like, it packs its trunk and leaves. And I'm like, oh no. It sits on a leaf and waits for fall. Because that makes way more sense.
Way more sense. Amazing. Well, I think that's a pretty good place to end. Thank you so much for today, for taking the time. It's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Yes, likewise. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and yeah, for anyone listening, I will post all the stuff in the show notes that we discussed, and I'll put Zoe's Instagram on there, so follow her and maybe buy some jewelry or something.
Yeah. Or hear some corny ass jokes.
Or hear, yeah,
jokes are too fancy.
Great jokes. Amazing. All right. Well, thanks again, and yeah, I'll have this posted up soon, and I will send you a message when it's up. So.
All right. Coolio, Bulio.
All right. Thank you.
Namaste. Have a good day.
Bye.
Bye.